In 1955, a woman named Margaret stepped into a world where a simple glance across a crowded room could mean more than an entire week of modern texting. It was a time when anticipation was part of romance, mystery was considered attractive, and strict dating rules quietly shaped how millions of women were perceived. But here's the strange part. Many of those rules have completely disappeared. Some were charming, some were controversial, and some would seem almost unbelievable today. Yet they defined an entire generation of relationships. So what were these lost dating rules that made women seem irresistible in the 1950s? And why did they vanish? What you're about to discover might completely change how you view romance from the past. At number 12, one forgotten rule taught women never to arrive too early for a date. It sounds simple, but in the 1950s, punctuality had a curious twist. Women were often encouraged to spend extra time perfecting every detail before making an entrance. The idea was that anticipation increased attraction. Imagine a young woman standing in front of a vanity mirror, adjusting her gloves one final time, while her date nervously waited outside. Oddly enough, arriving exactly on time wasn't always considered the most romantic choice. A slight delay created excitement and mystery. Over time, however, changing social expectations made this practice seem outdated and even impolite. Today, efficiency is often valued more than suspense. At number 11, women were taught to leave something unsaid. Few people today would believe how important mystery once was. Dating advice columns frequently warned women against revealing everything about themselves too quickly. The belief was that curiosity kept romance alive. During an evening at a neighborhood diner, conversations unfolded gradually, rather than all at once. Personal stories emerged over weeks and months instead of being shared instantly. Modern culture often celebrates complete openness from the beginning, but in the 1950s, many believed attraction grew through discovery. Just think about that for a moment. An entire relationship could unfold like chapters in a novel, rather than a profile page. Number 10 might surprise you. Women were encouraged to cultivate graceful conversation instead of dominating it. This wasn't merely about being quiet. It was about creating a balanced exchange where listening became a powerful social skill. In candlelit restaurants and dance halls, attentive listening was often viewed as elegant and attractive. A woman who remembered small details from previous conversations could leave a lasting impression. What happened next was even stranger. Many etiquette guides described listening almost as an art form. As society changed and gender expectations evolved, these formal communication rules faded away. Yet the ability to make someone feel heard remains surprisingly powerful even today. Number 9 was the famous rule of dressing for the occasion. In the 1950s, women often selected outfits based not only on fashion, but also on the type of date. A picnic required one look, a dance another, and a dinner something entirely different. Imagine opening a wardrobe filled with carefully pressed dresses, matching handbags, and polished shoes. Every detail sent a message. Clothing communicated respect for the event and effort toward the relationship. Modern dating tends to be more casual, but back then presentation carried tremendous importance. And honestly, that's hard to imagine today, when some first dates begin with sweatshirts and smartphones. Number 8 involved handwritten communication. Before instant messages and social media notifications, a thoughtful note could become a treasured possession. A woman might spend considerable time choosing the perfect words, carefully folding the paper and sealing it in an envelope. Can you believe it? Some letters were reread dozens of times. The anticipation of waiting for a reply created emotional investment that technology has largely eliminated. As telephones became common and later digital communication took over, handwritten romance gradually disappeared. Yet many people still feel a special emotion when holding a letter from the past. Number 7 was the rule of maintaining composure. During dates, women were often encouraged to remain calm and poised even when nervous. This wasn't simply about appearances. It reflected a broader cultural belief that self-control signaled confidence and maturity. Picture a crowded ballroom where music echoes beneath sparkling chandeliers. A young woman may feel butterflies in her stomach, yet she carries herself with grace. Surprisingly, many dating experts of the era believed composure created intrigue. In today's world, authenticity is often celebrated through visible emotions and vulnerability. The older ideal of constant poise gradually faded, but its influence can still be seen in classic films and photographs from the era. Number 6, centered around social reputation. In the 1950s, dating rarely occurred in complete isolation. Friends, neighbors, co-workers, and family members often knew who was seeing whom. Community opinion carried significant weight. A woman's reputation could shape how others perceived her character and future prospects. Imagine living in a neighborhood where news traveled faster than any social media feed. Every dance, every date, and every public outing became part of a larger social story. As society became more individualistic and private, community influence weakened. Yet this forgotten rule reveals just how interconnected relationships once were. Number 5 was the art of making special occasions feel special. Birthdays, anniversaries, dances, and holiday gatherings carried enormous romantic significance. Women often prepared extensively for these events. Decorations, outfits, hairstyles, and thoughtful gestures transformed ordinary moments into cherished memories. Few people today would believe how much emotional value could be placed on a single evening dance. These occasions created milestones that couples remembered for decades. Modern life often moves at a relentless pace, making it harder to slow down and celebrate. But the emotional power of anticipation remains timeless. Number 4 may be one of the most misunderstood rules. Women were often encouraged to avoid appearing overly available. The purpose, at least according to dating advice of the time, was to demonstrate independence and self-worth. A woman was expected to maintain hobbies, friendships, and family commitments rather than revolving her entire life around a romantic interest. Imagine that. Beneath the surface of this old-fashioned advice was an idea surprisingly familiar today. Attraction grows when people have fulfilling lives of their own. Of course, some versions of this rule became exaggerated and led to unnecessary games. As dating culture evolved, many rejected these strategies altogether. Yet the underlying lesson about personal identity never truly disappeared. Number 3 focused on dancing. This may sound trivial, but social dancing played a huge role in courtship. Whether at school gyms, community halls, or local clubs, dancing created opportunities for connection that didn't rely entirely on conversation. A woman who moved confidently across the dance floor could captivate attention instantly. Music filled the room while couples learned about each other through rhythm and movement. What happened next was remarkable. As entertainment shifted toward television and later digital technology, many traditional social dances declined. Along with them went an entire language of nonverbal courtship that once felt completely natural. Number 2 was the practice of valuing patience in romance. Relationships often developed more slowly than they do today. Dates were planned in advance. Conversations unfolded over time. Families frequently became involved early in the process. Waiting was not viewed as a problem but as part of the experience. Just think about that for a moment. In a world without instant communication, anticipation became a regular feature of love. The slower pace allowed emotions to mature gradually. Modern dating offers convenience and speed, but it has also reduced many of the pauses that once made romance feel dramatic and unforgettable. And finally, number 1. The lost dating rule that may have shaped attraction more than any other. Women were encouraged to create an atmosphere of genuine warmth. Beyond fashion, etiquette, and social customs, kindness was often described as the most memorable quality. A welcoming smile, thoughtful attention, and sincere interest in another person could leave an impression that lasted long after the evening ended. Picture a softly lit 1950s restaurant, music drifting through the air, laughter echoing from nearby tables, and a conversation that feels effortless. While many dating rules from that era have vanished, this one remains surprisingly relevant. Styles change, technology changes, society changes. Yet the human desire to feel valued, appreciated, and understood has never disappeared. Looking back at these lost dating rules is like opening a faded photograph album. Some customs seem charming, some seem strange, and some belong firmly in the past. But together they reveal a world where romance moved differently, where anticipation carried weight, where mystery had value, and where simple moments often felt extraordinary. Perhaps that's why these forgotten rules continue to fascinate us today. They offer a glimpse into a slower, more deliberate age of courtship, an age that has vanished but not entirely been forgotten.